You know when you order food delivery or grab a ride share or even use one of those buy now, pay later services, it all just works. It feels so simple. But what if I told you that behind a lot of these different apps, there's a single hidden engine making it all happen? Well, today we're popping the hood to look at the company that builds the modern plumbing for your digital wallet. So this logo here, this is Marqeta. Now, you've probably never seen it before, but if you use apps like DoorDash or Cash App, oh, you've definitely used their technology. They're basically the fintech company that other fintech companies can't live without. So what is it they actually do? Let's pull back that curtain.
To really get a handle on Marqeta's impact, we need to take a quick look at their journey. I mean, how did a small startup become so absolutely essential to the way we all make digital payments today? Their story, it tells you a lot about where the world of finance is headed. Looking at this timeline, you can see a really deliberate strategy playing out. They kicked things off in 2010 with this core idea: make payments programmable through APIs. That developer-first thinking really paid off, leading to their big IPO in 2021. And since then, it's all been about expansion, snapping up companies to get into credit services and pushing hard into new markets like Europe. It's a super clear playbook: build the best tools, then take them global. Now, to really appreciate what Marqeta built, you first have to understand the giant puzzle they were trying to solve. Before they came along, why was it so incredibly hard for a regular company to issue its own payment cards? Seriously, launching a card program used to be a total nightmare, both technically and just from a paperwork standpoint. You had to go out and negotiate these complicated deals with banks, then build these painful integrations with card networks like Visa, all while navigating a mountain of regulations. This whole process could mean years of super expensive development. Basically, if you weren't a huge bank, creating your own custom card was pretty much off the table. So, Marqeta saw all that complexity and just took a completely different, modern route. Instead of seeing walls, they decided to build bridges, all with a developer-first mindset that was designed to just slice right through all that red tape. At its heart, Marqeta is what's known as an issuer processor. And honestly, the best way to think about it is as a universal translator for money. They built this one platform that speaks the language of the old school banks, the language of the giant card networks, and the language of modern app developers. It connects all three of those worlds, and it does it seamlessly. So here's how it works in real time. Let's say you pay for your order on DoorDash. The app immediately pings Marqeta's API. And this is where the magic really happens. They have this feature called just-in-time funding, where Marqeta approves the transaction for that exact amount at that exact moment. This means DoorDash doesn't have to preload a bunch of cash onto a driver's card. Nope, the funds are only loaded the very second they're needed. Then that approval just zips through the bank and the card network, all in the blink of an eye. Okay, so having a powerful platform is one thing. But how does it actually work as a business? How does Marqeta turn all this incredible transaction processing into actual revenue? Well, Marqeta gives its partners a lot of flexibility with two main models. First, there's Managed by Marqeta, which is like the all-in-one package. They handle the bank relationships, the compliance, pretty much everything. Then there's Powered by Marqeta. This is for companies that want a bit more control. They get Marqeta's amazing core engine, but they manage the program themselves. It's kind of like the difference between buying a pre-built computer versus building your own with a super high-end processor inside. And their revenue model really mirrors that partnership approach. They charge platform fees for processing all those transactions, of course, but they also get a share of what's called program economics. This includes taking a tiny slice of the interchange fees, the fee that merchants pay to the card issuer every single time you swipe a card. It's a smart model that means they win when their customers win. The technology is impressive, for sure. But what does it all look like at scale? This is where we see the real-world impact of being the invisible engine for some of the biggest and most used apps in the entire world. $291 billion. I mean, just let that number sink in. That is the massive amount of transaction volume that flowed through Marqeta's platform in 2024 alone. It's an absolutely staggering figure that really shows you just how deep they're embedded in our modern digital economy. And all that volume? It's coming from household names. We're talking about the biggest players in on-demand delivery, buy now, pay later, and digital banking. There is a very, very good chance you have at least one of these apps on your phone right now. And yep, Marqeta is that invisible engine making their payments work. This quote from their own official filing when they went public, it just perfectly sums up their whole strategy. They don't want to be the bank, and they don't want to be the card network. They want to be the critical interface. that essential bridge that connects everybody else and makes all these modern financial apps possible in the first place. So, when you boil it all down, the key takeaway is pretty simple. Marqeta took this tangled, slow, and crazy expensive process of creating payment cards and turned it into a simple set of tools for developers. They gave companies the building blocks to embed really sophisticated financial services right into their apps, basically transforming a years-long headache into a totally manageable software project. And all of this leaves us with a final, really big thought. We're moving fast into this era of embedded finance, where pretty much any technology company can start offering financial services. And as companies like Marqeta provide the plumbing that makes all this possible, it brings up a huge question. As our favorite apps start acting more and more like our banks, who really holds the keys to our money?